and this herd, like, I mean, they were right next to the car. You
Mm-hmm.
could hear them ripping the grass. You could hear them breathing and snorting, and the birds on their backs chirping, and the babies just like kind of making their noises, and we're just sitting there, and these guys just quiet as ever in the back of the car. We're all just sitting there quiet, just observing these animals. And just
Alrighty. Here we go. Clink.
clink. All right, it's been a good. Oh, I guess I should take a drink, right? It's kind of rude to cheers someone and then set it down. I don't know. What is the etiquette on that?
Typically, but
Hey! Okay,
yeah,
I'm good
and I'm
here,
gonna set it down.
right? Oh, no, dude, what a good time it's been. I know we're kind of catching up on our Yellowstone adventure with the guys, with our first timer friends.
Yep.
We'll get into that. But last night, I gotta tell you, I drove to Red Lodge. I said, fuck it, let's get in the car and go. And I texted my cousin Jared. I said, what are you doing tonight? And he's like, nothing. I said, you want to go see this comet? There's that NeoWise comet. You're the one who actually like sparked my like, oh yeah, that's going on right now.
Yeah.
I'm not one to like research when science stuff's happening in space, because I feel like every time you do it, they're like, oh, this comet comes around every 6,800 years. But yeah, next week we'll find one that comes around about the same, like it's shit like that.
Yeah. I mean, they're more rare than you think, but I get it all synced to my calendar. So I know when all the meteor showers are. I know when comets are coming in, and like when people are launching stuff up to space, because I think it's cool. So,
Oh, it is cool. I wish
which everyone else can do the same. I think it's like through the New York Times. You can have it sync up with your like Google Calendar or whatnot, because that's what I do. It's fantastic. I love it.
No, I think that's awesome, because last night, you were saying this comet, the NeoWise comet, it has come and has blessed us with its presence for a while. And that's the thing about comets that are really cool, is like they have that like, hey, just passing by, we're not stopping by, we're just passing by. And it was kind of cool to see, because you were like, well, you might not be able to see it with the naked eye. But I drove to Red Lodge, Montana, got up on top of the Beartooth Mountains. We're sitting at 11,000 feet, no light pollution, just pure darkness. You could see the Milky Way behind me and the comet to the north there. It was just like, with the naked eye, I could see the comet, even through the clouds.
Oh, wow.
That's how cool it was. You can see like, and we're taking photos of it. And we're like, well, let's wait for the clouds to like pass, and take some photos.
Yeah.
So I do have some photos of that. That'll be on the Quartz Lake stuff for all you guys wanting to see it. They're not the best. I'm getting better at night photography, but it was kind of cool. The only problem I had was going with someone, because I kind of run my own schedule. I like, I would have stayed up till 5 taking photos, and then been like, oh my gosh, it's 5. If I didn't have Jared with me, he would have sent me home. He's the reason we left at like 1:30, which is good, because I didn't get back till 2:30. So
Shit. Yeah.
yeah, but it was worth it. It was cool. The comet, we could look through it with the spotting scope, binoculars, all that was all there. Really fucking cool.
Yeah. I tried looking at it here, but it was too cloudy last night. You couldn't see any stars in the sky. So I'm hoping maybe tonight or sometime soon, because it's not supposed. It gets like its closest here in like a week.
On the 22nd of July.
Yeah, 22nd, 23rd is when it's at its closest. So it's like, I still have time to see it. I just need to get out and see it. So
the problem I have, just so you know, with it is that you're going to want to get out into a dark area. Because even just like the headlights of the car, when we're driving with the headlights on, it was that hard to see it. but once you turn them off and let your eyes adjust, it's like, oh, there it is.
Oh
So
yeah, I'm sure.
very sensitive to the light.
I'm
Uh,
sure.
oh, it was really cool. It was a cool experience. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I just got in the car and drove. And that's like, I think that's something that, you got to practice that. You got to just, if you want to go see something, get in the car and go do it. Make it
Yep.
happen yourself.
Yep.
I know
Yeah, I might be able to, like, I can go to the beach. There's not a lot of light pollution on the beaches out here because
that's good.
they're kind of far away from houses. You'll see some, but you can get in areas where it's just magnificent, like not much. So
That'd be beautiful. Make it happen.
yeah, that's my plan for tonight. Hopefully,
You want high ISO, low f-stop, and then your exposure, I forget what the fuck it's called. Just
oh, I probably won't take pictures because the camera I have doesn't have a high enough ISO to really get good night pictures. So
oh yeah, mine has a 12,800 and I love it.
yeah, see, mine's not even close to that. So, but mine's an older camera. It was given
Yeah,
to me, and it's just to practice my photography skills while I save up money to get a nicer camera. So,
and he's been saving for 6 years for all you guys asking. That's how
not
much student loans.
six.
That's how much student loans he has. He needs the
It's been
help.
3. It's been 3 years. It's been 3, not 6. But
Right? No, it's cool. I like the camera. I'm glad I got out there. I'm glad I did it. Forced me to go out there. I talked to Thea. She's like excited. We're going to probably go up on Thursday night when it is close. Because it'll be hanging around for a few days after the 22nd, 23rd. It'll still be in
yeah,
sight. And so I told her I'd take her up there like Thursday night, go take a look at it. Because, I mean, it
is
is
she
one.
coming in to your town?
Yeah, she'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. No.
Good shit. Good shit.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Thea, she's a RN working up in Wolf Point. Well, that's where she's from. She's my fiance. We do part time, I guess, is a good way of putting it. She lives up there for like a week and then comes down here on her week off. She works 6 days, 8 days off, kind of thing. Has a weird schedule, so she'll be
Yeah.
back down. Take her up there, take her to the mountains. Because it's always a fun time.
Oh, nice. That'll be a
Um,
good time. Good time to get up there.
but I mean, it's the Beartooths, man. You're never disappointed going into the Beartooths. It's
Yeah,
kind
I
of
mean, it's up in the mountains. It's nature. It's hard to get disappointed when you're out in such a beautiful area anyway. So regardless if it's the Beartooths or like the beach or the forest, just as long as you're out, it's gonna be blast.
exactly. Well, it was really cool too because we went up to the. You're familiar with it. For those of you who aren't familiar with the Beartooth Pass, if you're coming up from the eastern side of the Beartooth Pass, the Red Lodge side, um, right on top, you get to the top of this mountain. It's literally the top of a peak. And there's a ski hill, kind of. There's a ski machine that pulls skiers up in early spring, so that they could ski down this bowl. And that's kind of where we were. We were up at that parking lot area last night, just
Oh,
right on
nice.
top. Like, well, not I call it a parking lot. Literally, it's just like a dirt patch on top of a mountain.
I mean, it kind of is.
Yeah, but so we parked up there and took some really cool pictures and had a good time. And it was cold, windy, 30 degrees. But after I know I was like in Billings, I put on pants and a jacket. It was 90 degrees here when I left, and it's 30 up there. It was worth it though. It was cool.
Yeah, I saw some of the pictures already, and it looked incredible. So
Yeah, I don't know where I set down my phone.
it'll be exciting for people. Go check out all the Instagrams: Quartz Lake Productions, Zach of Quartz Lake Productions,
The Rougarou.
Rougarou. There'll
Yep.
be some pictures of the Rougarou with the comet in the background. So, a lot of cool stuff to go check out if you want to see some pictures that we took of it.
Or if you don't want to, don't. Whatever. Fuck you. No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
No, but no, it'll be all good time.
No,
Go check it out. We appreciate it. Um,
it helps us. It
yeah, it
helps
does.
us.
It
The
does.
feedback we get, everything we get from you guys is helpful. and we can't stress that enough. This is a podcast. Part of this podcast is to get your opinion on our opinion. And we want to hear, we want to hear what you guys like. Do you like us talking about the comet like this? Do you like us talking about Yellowstone Park, Glacier Park? What more do you want to hear from us? We want to hear that, and you could email us at you could quartzlakeproductions@gmail.com. That works.
That
You could
does
reach
work.
me. Do I check it? Maybe every blue moon.
Yeah.
And the next blue moon's not for a while, according to Mark's calendar. But
But you can
but
also email us at wanderingwayspodcast@gmail.com. Wandering, WANDERING WAYSPODCAST @gmail.com. GMAIL.com. So it will also be on the video below us, but for the people listening, send us emails.
or not. If you're not an emailer, and you rather DM us, slide into our DMs on Instagram,
That
go
too.
for it.
That
Go
too.
for it. We'll probably respond a lot quicker.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Remember if you have a really cool story too, cool story about an adventure you went on, if we think it's cool enough, we'll shoot you an email back. Maybe we'll have you on the podcast. So
as a guest, yeah. Not only that, not only just cool story, but I'm thinking we'd love to hear your Bigfoot stories. We would love to document them and have them on a social channel of ours. Mark shared his Bigfoot story. I'm looking every day. I didn't see him last night, but I saw a cool comet, so that was cool.
yeah.
But yeah, we're always on the hunt. We're always looking, and we would love to hear your stories. Heck, maybe we feature you for a good minute or so, telling us your story, or we would love that. Obviously, you'd have to be cool with us sharing that.
Yeah.
Some people aren't, so
Mm-hmm.
we would love that. So just reach out to us. We gave you our contacts. If we ignore you, take that as a sign. No, I'm just kidding. We probably didn't mean to. There's a lot of times messages get sent to the box that gets unread sometimes. And
This is true.
so, but we'll be there. And
Yeah.
it was good.
So last episode of the podcast, we talked about Glacier National Park and our time up there, the blast, seeing the goats, the thunderstorm, the kind of struggles of it not being open and whatnot, which is totally cool.
And Matt Buddy, the struggles of Matt Buddy. No, I'm just kidding. We love that guy.
No, I love Matt Buddy. He's a good guy. But we left you with some teasers for the second part of that trip in Yellowstone National Park. So we're going to get into that today. It was mostly for Mr. Zach Gray 250's bachelor party, but we did spend like a whole day in the park, seeing some real cool stuff. But actually, honestly, our part of the park starts even before we got to like our cabin and where we met up with everyone, because we went through to get there and we saw some cool stuff that day. Saw that fox.
There's some cool hikes.
Yeah. Well, did we? I don't remember. I don't think we did.
I mean, hikes. We walked a few feet.
Yeah, not a hike.
We meandered down a trail for a good 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, we went to Sheep Eater Cliff.
Obsidian Cliff.
Yeah, hung out there. But the fox was super cool.
Yeah, so we actually ended up staying in Bozeman the night before, and we drove down through Livingston, Montana, did the Bozeman Pass, drove down that beautiful drive through Paradise Valley. If for those of you unfamiliar with Paradise Valley, it's the one with all the rich people. It was kind of actually the interesting thing about Paradise Valley, just as I wander my way, get it? See what I did there? So I wander my way away from the topic, but keeping the topic similar. I believe the Atlanta Falcons owner has a ranch up there. He has a golf course, I believe, on his ranch, stuff like that. It was kind of the Big Sky before Big Skies. Big Sky's a huge popular resort. Tom Brady has a summer home up there. A lot of celebrities, Justin Timberlake, guys like that. So Paradise Valley is kind of the same way. It's kind of been that way a little bit longer. It's the north entrance into the park. You go through a little town of Gardner, Montana. Cute little town. If you're into cute little towns, that
Yeah,
fits
it's a
the
good time.
script.
It's a nice little spot, Gardner.
Yeah, it's also Gardner. Go up the hill to Jardine, you'd be like, what is fuck is this? A couple
Yeah,
houses, there's only like 5 people that live there, but it's Jardine. No, it was good. And then we went into the park and you never know what you're going to get in Yellowstone.
no, you don't. You don't.
Because the area we were at, the way the people were stopped, and that's the thing, when you're in Yellowstone Park, if you're a first timer in the park, you'll see cars stopped. They're stopped for a reason.
Yep.
People are being dumb because it's their first time in the park. They're looking their heads out the windows. They're here and there. So if you're a driver, it's your first time in the park, find a pull out, not the side of the road, a pull out, and go observe the animal from a safe distance. Because the other thing too is you got to respect that animal. You're in his home. You don't want to stress him out. I've seen bears where I'm the, one person seeing the bear, but as the more and more people start to show up, the bears start to go into the woods because they get stressed out because of all the people, cars, and noise. So
Mm-hmm.
take that into consideration when you're there. So what we did was we saw these cars, they were pulled over. Me being like my 700,000th time in the park, no, more like 50th, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean a lot, but you start to notice. Not only are you looking in the windows for like wildlife, you got to look forward because you'll see and you all the cars stop and you're like, all right, people alert. So they're looking at something, and then no, we did that and ended up finding a fox, which
It was
was
kind of cool because there's only like 4 or 5 cars pulled over, but you could tell they were looking at something, and the area it was at was kind of cool. It looked like a possible moose area
mm,
because there's marshy, and you're like, oh man, like those pictures of the moose and the marshes with the antlers and the water, and it's just a picturesque. It says Alaska on it, usually because that's
yeah,
where you see them, but it had that vibe to it. And sure enough, we're sitting there, we get out and we hear the people, and I kind of heard them say, oh, it looks like a fox. And you're like, okay, well, how many times do you really see a wild fox? We as humans have actually really taken over their territory of where foxes live. So seeing them in the wild isn't necessarily the same. Oh my God. When did you got this photo?
yeah. So
Oh, that's
people
a good
listening, I
one.
put up a photo of the fox. Um, but yeah, so again, this is all at it. Everyone, and he kind of came out, then went back into some bushes, so it was harder to see. And everyone else kind of went to this one spot, and I was like, you know what? I kind of just want to get away from it. Maybe I can get a different angle. Or I was also trying to anticipate him coming so I didn't have to move to take pictures. And so I was kind of by myself, separated. And this guy came like literally right over to me. It was
He
kind of
ran right to you,
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, he got like 10 yards from me, and I was like, oh, shoot, I might have to back up because he's getting too close. Because I didn't want to get, stress the guy out too much. So that's when I took this picture that we got up, and he's just kind of poking out behind this tree. It
Literally.
was super cool to see. But this, I think, may have been my first wild fox I've seen. I don't have a real vivid memory of one that I
That's
can think
cool.
of. So I'm treating it like it's my first fox. So it was super cool to see. They have the big old bushy tails, which are super cool.
Yeah, the problem with him is he's kind of ratty looking.
Yeah, he
You look
was.
at the photos I took, he's
Yeah.
kind of ratty, but that's a good shot. I at first I'm kind of mad because when we first ran over there, I didn't bring my camera. I left it in the car. And he ran right out in front of us, just like whoop, right down this little trail. And I'm like, oh my God, there's the picture, but I had no camera.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, those moments happen, and
Yeah.
that's okay.
Happen all the time.
But yeah, it was good. It was really cool. We did that. We stopped at Sheep Eater Cliff, did a nice little walk down by I think that's the Firehole River right there.
Yeah, I don't. It might
Gardner
have
River,
been.
Lamar River. It's one of those three.
Yeah.
It's not
It's one of
Lamar.
them.
Lamar's in Lamar Valley.
Mm-hmm.
It's a river, and we walked along it right next to Sheep Eater Cliff. Mark took a picture of himself sitting in this field of flowers because he has an obsession with wildflowers. So
I
if there's
love
any
wildflowers.
there's anyone out there that wants to send Mark a gift, you can send him wildflowers. He loves it.
Yeah, I no, I do love wildflowers. I take pictures of them all the time. But yeah, no, I got me what like looks like I'm meditating in them. It's a great shot.
Beautiful. It was a little beautiful meadow. We saw a snake hanging out.
Mhm.
And that's the other thing too. Sheep Eater Cliff. It's a good little like picnic area if you guys are into that. Um, I was the reason we stopped at Obsidian Cliff and Sheep Eater Cliff is Matt Buddy was along with us, and I was kind of showing him some of the Native American sites in the
Mhm.
park. There's also some really like thousands of year old teepee rings right in the Gardner area when you come in there. I've shown Matt prior. We just didn't have time for that this trip, but I really want to show some more people those because it's cool. It's cool. You can see these rocks. They've probably been sitting there for thousands of years. The way they've formed into the ground, but you can tell they're in a circle from holding down a teepee back in the day, and it's really cool. But yeah, no, Sheep Eater Cliff, great little area. The people in the park, they were most likely Shoshone Bannock relations. So a lot of their tribal members are now, or in historically, the people that got pushed out of the park are on the Wind River Reservation in Wyoming. Not a good reservation. There are some places in Africa that are a lot nicer than reservations here in the States. So take that into mind. Um, but yeah, it's there's also a good documentary called Wind River on Netflix. If you guys are open to that, that really shows some of the struggles that our tribal people are going through, and don't need to get into that, but definitely something that if you have more questions, feel free to shoot us an email. But yeah,
I would
it's
try and shoot him one. He knows more about it than I do. Um, I just have never lived the life, or I'm also not native, so I don't know as much as about all that stuff like Zach. I learn more and more each and every day that I hang out with these guys. So, you know,
well, that's kind of it. I got my Lego Native Man on today. It's a cool Native American owned company out of Minneapolis called NTVS Natives. They do cool shirts and things and hats and this and that. So I'm rocking that today. So shout out to them. Sponsor us, please. No. Yeah, no, it was really cool because Sheep Eater Cliff, it was where those people, they survived off the bighorn sheep in the park. Um, Hence the term sheep eaters. But yeah, it was kind of cool. We did that Obsidian Cliff. Then we really didn't see. Oh, and a pelican. We came across a pelican.
yeah, we did. We came across one of those white pelicans, which are super cool to see.
I tried to look up the numbers on them and I couldn't find anything. But the Yellowstone white pelican is, I want to say they're a rare bird. They're a hard bird to come across, or they're seasonal, or some weird. There's something different about them that makes them unique to Yellowstone Park. And I bet if we stopped at the Fishing Bridge Visitor Center, where they have that cool bird exhibit, they would be able
Oh
to
yeah,
tell
we
us.
probably would have got a little bit more info on them if we had done that.
Exactly. It's all right. We didn't.
But
It's fine.
yeah,
Life happens. But yeah, it's definitely, we came across a pelican. There he is. That's a good picture too. He
yeah,
was eating in the weeds and reeds there.
yeah. It was super cool because he was just chilling, munching away on some stuff. So
Well, it was his, like, you could see what's really cool is when he would tilt, however you want to say it,
yeah,
his head up into the air. And like if he had stuff in his thing, you could see it go down because
yeah, it
you can
was.
see the pink in the picture here. You can see the light, which is really cool. It was really cool to come across this and experience it. And I'm glad we
Hmm.
stopped.
Yeah, no, I that was a nice little stop. See it, stretch the legs a little bit too, because then we also had to kill some time before we got into the cabin. So it was all good things.
Yeah, and then we showed up to our cabin. We rented a cabin out of Henry's Lake, Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful area. If you are looking for a cabin, second home, I would recommend I would put it on the map. You're right there in close proximity to West Yellowstone. Beautiful views of the Milky Way galaxy. Beautiful views of just the stars, and we could
Yeah, it
see
was extraordinary to
yeah,
the spot we were at.
you see the Grand Tetons from where we were at.
Yeah, I know that was such a delightful surprise to be able to sit on that porch, that front deck area, and you just look across and you can just see the tips of those Grand Tetons. It was,
It was magnificent.
yeah, it was a nice little surprise. And then I mean the lake was beautiful there too.
And
Uh,
you thought you saw a moose one morning.
yeah, I mean to be real, it was either a moose or it could have been our buddy Bigfoot. So no, I mean I think it was early in the morning. I just see this what looks it was probably what looked like a cow or some sort of,
But it was in it, like you saw the field of cows. It was
yeah,
in
so
the
that's
same
why I
field.
thought it could, but I mean this thing was like hauling, and I'm just looking, and idiot me, I was just like, oh, maybe I should go get the spotting scope now. And so I got it late, and by the time I got visual on it on the binoculars, it kind of gone up in the woods. So I didn't get a great look. It could have been a moose, definitely could have, but it could have been a couple other things too. So
Could have been like an elk or something too.
yeah, it could have. You know,
But
it was still cool to just see it do the thing from a long distance. So
no, it's awesome that you got to see it and experience it and have
yeah, I
that.
mean,
You know,
shoot, got to have my coffee in the morning looking at it, so I was all about it.
right? Exactly. And then we had our that because that was that morning. Our friends, Yolo, Abdul, and Aman all came out from Oregon for their first time in Montana, Idaho. It was funny because they're like, oh, we're in Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, like all in this like one area.
Yeah,
We're driving east to west into Montana, or west to east into Montana from Wyoming or Idaho. We're doing the opposite. Like
yeah.
because
Yeah,
it's probably a little weird.
yeah, if you're familiar with where West Yellowstone is, most of Yellowstone is in Wyoming. So when you head out west to get to West Yellowstone, you go from Wyoming to Montana. But then if you keep on that highway, you end up in Idaho, which is where we stayed in Idaho. But then going back, you got to go from Idaho, Montana into Wyoming. So it's
It's a
kind of an
weird
odd
little area.
little geographical shape down there. But I don't know who decided to make those state lines, but they're there. So
Probably had something to do with the hills. Let's be real.
yeah,
The
probably
hills formed in that, or rivers, or who cares?
something like that.
There, we
But
did it. We made it happen. But yeah, they were excited to do that because it's their first time coming out this way, and
hmm
first time in Yellowstone Park. Yolo. Just a little background on him. Me and him met our freshman year of college. We were standing in line for a business school thing, and I turned around just to make conversation because I was like, well, what else do I want to do? And sure enough, 7 years later, here we are in Yellowstone Park together. So
yeah,
it's crazy how you meet people and how conversations start and where things go and end up. But it was cool. He's actually originally from Uganda, Africa. So being able to take them into the park, and the whole time, they were in my car with me. We had two cars because there's 10 of us. Um, they're in my car with me, they're telling, think the conversation come up like, I can't wait to take you to Africa. I can't wait to take you to parks there. And I was like, oh, I can't wait. Can't wait. Because that's the thing I truly like about Yellowstone and glaciers. I've been there. You've been there enough
hmm
where it is that sense of belonging. It's that sense of like, we know where we're going and what to do. And I would love that in a place like, Uganda, where it's like, no, he grew up here. He knows the cool stuff. He
yeah,
knows like that waterfall, you have those waterfalls in America.
hmm
I'm going to show you this waterfall. I'm going to show you that, which I love. I love coming across things like that. So
yeah. No, it's always a special, especially like those guys, because I mean you've known Yolo a little longer than me, but I've known him since college days too, and good friends. But when you do get to share those experiences with new people and his friends, and they have that awe moment, it's a cool experience. And so I mean, one, it was cool to see them because I hadn't seen those guys in a long time. So to be able to see them again and then hang out in the park, do all these cool things, it's awesome. We did
yeah,
the
I mean,
We
It
did
was,
the Grand Prismatic like lookout hike, so not on the boardwalk of it, but up above it, which is super cool.
yeah.
If you, it's I think it's relatively new, isn't it? That hike?
No, so remember they were having issues with bears or something over there the last few times we've wanted to do it. It's always existed, that Grand Presentic hike. I think the parking lot has gotten a lot bigger for it,
Okay.
as well as the trail has gotten a lot wider. So usually when you're in the Grand Prismatic area, a lot of people just go to the boardwalk right on Grand Prismatic Geyser, which is
Yeah.
awesome. You're right up close and personal with it. Some good photos. When you're on that boardwalk, so you can see down there. When you're on that boardwalk, you're looking at these hills, and that's the hills we're standing on in this photo. Mark is now sharing on the video portion of the podcast.
Hmm.
Beautiful shot. You right here, you see Grand Prismatic Geyser. We're overlooking it, so you get a higher kind of sense when you're up on top. Plus, there's less people because it is quite a bit of a trek. I would say it's about a quarter mile, half mile, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Uh, Trek, and you do go up a little hill. I mean, you got to get up on top to see, and we're looking down. But I knew, we're all physically fit. There's 10 dudes in their 20s. Like, come on, let's be real. We're going to do this hike. Uh,
Yeah.
they
Honestly, it's
loved
a
it.
hike anybody can do in reality. You can take your family there. It's not too terribly long. Majority of it is pretty flat, minus the last little bit up to the lookout. So if you guys do end up going to Yellowstone out there, I highly recommend doing that lookout there above it. And I recommend going down to the boardwalk too. It's pretty cool to
If
actually
you
be
have
like
time, do
at
both.
it.
Yeah, if you have time, do both.
Hmm.
I think this one has become our kind of priority one.
Yeah.
um, instead of doing the boardwalk, just because we've done the boardwalk enough and the people on the boardwalk. It's fun to go down on the boardwalk and get those like pictures of the reds really up close. You can see the reds in the Grand Prismatic Geyser.
Hmm.
Uh, I like like early spring, late fall. When the parks kind of died down, traffic in there. Personally,
Yeah.
and then the other thing is if you want to get close to some geysers like this, I like going down to West Thumb. And we took those guys down to the West Thumb Geyser Basin, which what's really cool about the West Thumb Geyser Basin is, I'm gonna I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna sound ignorant, but I also mean it with the purest heart. The geysers are the geysers. You're gonna see the colors all over the park. There's tons of geysers, thousands of geysers that all look like Grand Prismatic. The sizes and variations of those colors do change.
Hmm.
But some of my favorite geysers are on the water because you're right next to the giant Yellowstone Lake. There's not as many people down there, which I like.
Hmm.
And then
It is nice to get like on the water there.
it's a different feel, and I,
Yeah.
I like that feel a little bit more. Is pretty much what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. You've always liked that. That's always been kind of a big spot to take people when I've gone with you. So I got one picture of a old trip that I'm gonna bring up of kind of the lake. You don't get to see the cool hot pots of it or the geysers and stuff of it, but it's a cool overlook of the lake and stuff. So
Well, I think the thing too is there's not. Oh yeah, there's that fishing cone or whatever they call it.
yeah,
But yeah, there's the mountains in the background. Yeah, this is last June 2019 in the winter there. But yeah, you get the ice. There was ice on the water. That's like those things on the water are ice.
yeah. If you're watching the video, the kind of just below the mountains on the water, there's some ice shelf there. Um, but this is again the odd part about it. This
June.
was June, and when you think June, you're thinking warmer weather, but mountains, you can get a snowstorm just like that.
Oh, exactly. It's nuts. It's cool though. It's really cool, and we got to experience that last year, which was awesome. And that's what I mean. I like taking these guys down here because you get the lake, you get the mountains,
Hmm.
and to be honest, because we're coming from the Montana side of the park, we don't spend a lot of time around the lake. I think just because of where we're based and staying at usually.
Yeah,
If you're down in the Tetons, you're down in Cody, yes, you're going to spend more time on the lake, I think, because those are the entrances you'll use into the park.
yeah,
But I think because it's kind of like the bottom of that loop, it's a good spot. You hit that West Thumb and you drive, and then we go up into the Hayden Valley. Even Old Faithful. I mean, that was on our way from Grand Prismatic to West Thumb. We took those guys there. I don't think at first, I think they're kind of like, what is this? Like, what the heck? Like people, Old Faithful's kind of interesting because it's like really the only, like, I wouldn't call it a town because that's Mammoth. Mammoth is really the only town in the park.
Yeah.
Old Faithful's just like, you got the lodge, you got the hotel, got the snow lodge, got the stores, got the giant parking lots. Because it is one of those things, Old Faithful's an icon. It's an American icon for that matter. But I'm glad they got to experience that because they did not think it would shoot that high. They did not think it would last that long. A lot of people, it's funny, you do hear mixed reviews, but I'm glad that for them it was worth it. And Old Faithful, it is kind of cool.
Actually, I just saw a video today. There was a bear like at Old Faithful. Like,
no way.
Yeah, so if you've ever been to Old Faithful, there's the people all looking around it, right? You see Old Faithful there. There's this bear just running around. I'm going to see if I can find it on my phone. And just show on the screen here. It's not going to be great, but at least I can show Zach here of it. Proof that I did see this video that bears do end up there. He's just like running, going crazy.
Oh, I bet. I mean, I've seen bison, whatnot, sit right near Old Faithful. I've seen.
Yeah, right.
We stayed in the cabins there one time, and Mark saw a coyote just come running by the river. He thought it was a wolf. He jumped up.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, it's a cool little area. So we took them there. That was awesome. Ate bison for the first time.
Yeah. So
yeah, it was good.
This might not be like necessarily the best, but you can kind of see him just running around.
He's running up and down. The guys are there right by the. Oh my gosh! Look at all those people.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like everyone's gathering because Old Faithful's about to blow, and he's just kind of going crazy, just running around.
He's running too. That's not a slow. Like bears don't run.
Yeah, no, slow. He's just kind of. I don't know. He kind of goes behind, and then this video ends. But yeah, it's kind of nuts to see a bear right there at Yellowstone.
He's like a dog when the dogs get when you bring a dog in from doing something and they get all excited and run around the house. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, no, it does. It's kind of nuts too because there's all those people there and stuff.
That could be stress though too.
Yeah.
Just the fact that okay, I came out into the woods but let's be real. Some of those bears are well aware of people. Mm-hmm. There are stories. You get some of those books in the park, you read those ghost stories in Yellowstone or deaths in Yellowstone. I would say about, 25% of that book's bear deaths. And it's like, well, yeah, I was feeding the bear and I ran out of food and
the episode of the podcast is brought to you by Quartz Lake Productions. Quartz Lake Productions is making a series of videos and photos inspiring you all to go out and explore nature as well as the national parks. You can check out Quartz Lake Productions on their YouTube page where they have a variety of different videos of different trips and many more to come, as well as episodes of this podcast will be on the Quartz Lake Productions YouTube page. So please go check it out. Enjoy listening.
People.
It is. We only saw one bear. Trip. Well, we saw two. We saw a black.
You're a liar. We saw two. We come into the park early that morning.
Yeah, a black bear and a grizzly. We saw one of each.
I know, and the thing is we saw them. The black bear was in the trees walking along the river, so it was kind of hard to see. The grizzly bear was after when we're actually right by Mud Volcano. Mm-hmm. Across the way there, so there's Mud Volcano, there's the Yellowstone River, and then across the Yellowstone River, we saw a grizzly bear. And it was actually kind of cool. We got good enough to see it. Everyone got to see it, and it was from a safe distance. And I'm glad we were able to show everyone a black bear and a grizzly bear.
Mm-hmm.
We even drove the Lamar Valley, beautiful Lamar Valley.
Yeah, Lamar's always amazing.
You got to ask Apple, when's the Yellowstone update coming? Because you got the Yosemite one, you got the High Sierra one. We need the Yellowstone update because, let's be real, that Lamar Valley gives you better views than Is this that? Oh yeah, we came across this herd of bison in the Lamar Valley,
Yeah,
and
so
oh
coming in, I mean they were right next to the road, so we stopped. The picture that's on the screen for the listeners, I'm literally taking it from the driver's seat of my car. I just rolled down the window, the passenger side has poked in and started taking pictures. I mean, but they're like crazy. Um, I mean, we kind of talked about it last time too, but you know, you shut your car off completely and said like if you want to talk about the experience you had with those guys, just
yeah.
listening
So
and all that.
it was their first time seeing bison. They did not know. They've seen pictures of bison because I've shared pictures and taken pictures, but they were unaware of the size. These animals, the female, which this is a picture of right here that Mark has, females weigh about 800 pounds, where the males are a little bit bigger. You see them up to a ton. Um, yeah, they it was a really cool experience. We turned the car off, we pulled into one of those pullouts, and this herd, like I mean, they were right next to the car. You
Mm-hmm.
could hear them ripping the grass. You could hear them breathing and snorting, and the birds on their backs chirping, and the babies just like kind of making their noises, and we're just sitting there, and these guys just quiet as ever in the back of the car. We're all just sitting there quiet, just observing these animals, and just the respect for the animal, the respect for us, the abilities to sit there and let them, and we didn't bother them. That was the best part, is we were sitting there and they were just there, on
Yeah.
both sides of the car, because there was some even across the road. They were just hanging out, doing their thing, moving through, eating their dinner, and it was just like, it was a really cool experience to like be a part of and be with, and to give to those guys, of like, I'm glad you guys came to Montana. I'm glad you guys got to experience that, because we went out later that night into Gardner and they got bison burgers, because
Yeah.
they had to after that. Bison, really good. If you're a hamburger person, I think bison's better than beef. It's better for you. It's better for the environment. Bison don't ruin fields the same way cows do. Fun fact. And they produce more meat. So
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
something.
bison are pretty cool for
They're a cool
sure.
animal.
Um,
We got to go hunting one time, and it's actually a very spiritual experience. My uncle, tribal member, tribal president, tribal leader, tribal chairman, whatever you want to call him, he got a tag to go hunt one, and it's a very spiritual thing. You definitely got to give thanks to the animal, give thanks to the land. Offer up your tobacco and prayers. Use every piece of it. He ate the stomach, he ate the liver, because that's what you do. That if you're going to take one of those creatures, you use the whole creature.
mhm.
He but what's interesting is when you do go hunting these animals, they're very they're very aware of one another. They're not like deer, or deer scatter if they hear a gunshot. Bison will protect their injured ones. I've heard stories, I've heard Native American stories of bison helping pick up other bison that have been shot, and like standing three of them wide, with the hurt one in the middle, like helping prop him up till he got better. It's nuts. They're very, they're very similar to elephants in that way, where they say their goodbyes when a bison passes away. They're very protective. They're a different type of herd animal than like a cow or a deer. Which is
Yeah,
a really cool experience. And
yeah, and I love Lamar Valley there. One of the things I always tell people when you get into like the real Lamar Valley and you see the big valley, right? That's when you see like the mass herds of buffalo there. And there, I mean, there's a ton of them to go, and it's just crazy. You look at it, and then you you start to imagine like what it probably was like when the numbers of the buffalo herds were even more. Because I mean, the like mass killings of them back in the day, it wiped almost caused when made them go extinct. And
yeah,
so
well, that's why Yellowstone's Yellowstone. Part of the reason
yeah,
the
but
last 2,000 were put in the park. 2,000 or 200. I know it was a small number.
yeah, but I every time I'm there, I always think like, man, like what it was like is nuts. Like
and you're looking in a small a mountain valley. You have to think, and you've been out to the Badlands, you've been out to Billings, you've been out, Wyoming,
Hmm.
Colorado, the plains. They were in the millions. Trains would be stopped for days just to let a herd of bison pass. Days.
Yeah. So that every time I go, that's one of the few things I always think about. And I always wish I could have seen those mass numbers, but people are
Nuts.
dumb. So
Yeah, here we are. No.
yep. Yep.
But
Here we
it's
are.
funny you bring that up because my grandparents went through the Lamar Valley one time, or they did not go through the Lamar Valley one time. I should say they went through Yellowstone Park. I think one of the only times they've been to Yellowstone Park. They did the like we went in through Livingston, down through Gardner over Old Faithful, back out through West Yellowstone on our way out. So they didn't really see the valleys, Hayden Valley or Lamar Valley, and they're like, "Well, we didn't see any bison." And I was like, "Well, you were in the mountains the whole time."
Yeah.
Like you got to go to the valleys. You got to go see them in the numbers because that's when they're like, well, we didn't think Yellowstone had a lot of bison, and I'm just like, they're like, oh, we saw more in like the Badlands, and like I've been to the Badlands, I've seen the bison in the Badlands. I'm like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
You're smoking crack, Grandma. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, you want to go to the Lamar Valley. You can see some mass numbers of them, and it's super cool. And Lamar Valley's cool just in itself. So
Well, it's a big wolving area too. If you're into the spotting scope looking for wolves, that's where you'll see those guys doing that all day long. Personally, I like seeing my wolves as close as I can get to them, but that's hard to do. Wolves are a hard creature to see. They don't like you the same way, people don't like them. They just
yeah.
want to be respected and do their own thing.
Yeah. No, that's very, very true. But
No, it's good. It's good. And then the next day we went back, we took some night photos of the stars, the Milky Way. Was really tired. We didn't get back to the place till about 1 o'clock. So everyone was tired because they just drove in from Oregon or wherever else everyone came from. We were tired.
yep.
Woke up the next morning, drove through the park, saw some elk, saw two really nice big bulls. I mean,
Yeah.
beautiful elk. Like, I mean, you're talking 300-point club. Like, these guys are just massive, just hanging out, eating their lunch, dinner, whatever it was. We drove up to West or Gardner there and went rafting with the Yellowstone Raft Company.
Super
Which
fun. I love
actually,
rafting.
sadly, here's Mark sharing for you video listeners the picture of one of the elk. I mean, you're looking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points on one antler there.
Yeah, I
Just
mean, big beautiful bulls. Big
yeah.
beautiful bulls. But no,
No,
go back to the rafting. I just wanted to pop a picture of
no,
it.
I'm glad. I'm good. The rafting was sad actually is actually a couple days later that the rafting building we rafted out of burnt down. There was a grease fire in one of the restaurants nearby. So we actually got to go rafting out of it. Our guide, Danny, super awesome. Tipper big if you're ever down in Yellowstone Raft
She's
Company.
fantastic. Fantastic guide.
She was awesome. Yeah, but she even let Mark guide.
Yeah. I love Whitewater. Part of me wishes I was a Whitewater guide. So it was fun to be able to.
Loki are now though.
I know I've done enough rafting guides, right, to where like I can maneuver a raft fairly well, but I'm not official.
I know. I like it. I like because I mean, let's be real, right? We did the black or the Yellowstone River there, and they advertised that you sign waivers for whitewater rafting, right? You saw those rapids. They're
Hmm.
big rapids. Don't get me wrong. These
Yeah, they're
rapids,
fun.
there were some gnarly fun rapids, but a couple years ago in 2017, Mark guided us because my family has a raft. It's kind of one of those ones where there's a nice metal frame in there, so it's one person oaring.
There's a rowboat.
And it was on the Blackfoot River up in northwestern Montana. And I mean, I would argue the rapids we hit were no different than that, like about the same.
Oh yeah, they were. They were
So
about the
he
same.
guided us on the Blackfoot.
Yeah, I mean that time I did it all,
Yeah.
minus a little bit because my arms were just like exhausted. Because
Oh, we were out there for like 4 hours too that
yeah,
day.
we were out for a while, but no, that was fun. And then I've done other kind of low key guiding too. So no, I enjoy it. I love it. If you're out there listening and you want to take me rafting, you want me to lead the boat, let me know. Hit me up, Reverend Marcus. I love it. So that for the DM or
Grand
hit
Canyon,
the email wanderingwayspodcast@gmail.com.
Grand Canyon guide needed.
Yeah. I will. I'll take you out on rafting. I'm a fun guy, so
Kawhi Leonard, if you're listening, he's a fun guy too.
yeah. So,
There you go.
yeah. But that was kind of it for the majority of our trip.
Well, it was cool. What I liked is both those guys, everyone, even Matt included, ate the elk and bison burgers after seeing them in the park, and it was kind of cool because I think there was a respect for that, eating them. People liked the meat. Just so if you're into that. If you're not, if you're vegetarian, pescatarian, whatever else you want to be, go ahead, be happy, eat some of the grass.
Yeah.
It's organic, it's Yellowstone, it's there's no pesticides there, so you're good. Just kidding. Actually, I want to say I had a wild raspberry one time in Yellowstone Park. It was fucking good.
Oh, I bet.
Growing, you're just like, oh, look at that.
I love raspberries.
Yeah, no, it was a good experience with those guys, rafting, hanging out. We even watched the UFC fights later that night at the cabin there, which was kind of fun, getting all those guys together. I mean, a lot of us, we interact, we have a group conversation, most of us, the majority of us. So we interact frequently with one another. It's just to get us all in the same place at the same time like that was really cool. It was really special. And that's the thing. If you have a good friend group like that, I mean, make it happen.
Yeah. It makes you feel grateful that, you can spend with time with your friends or family. It's that's what life, you want to share it with people, you want to share memories with people. So if you guys have the opportunity to gather your friends, gather your family, do it, because those are the memories that you make. I talked about making memories last time. That's how you make some memories. So
well, and like for us, that just makes that, like, we had 10 people looking for Bigfoot.
yeah.
It's in the car, people are there, we're looking, we're having a good time. And what's fun when you have a group like that, right, is you get the different emotions, you get the different attitudes, you get the different, like, things, but you can get them with everybody. And everyone knows everybody, everyone likes everyone. It was a good group of guys. I mean, even though some people haven't met, there was some that I don't think have met face-to-face before, and
No.
others that have, and it was just kind of, it was a good group. It was like Colton, I don't think has met any of those guys.
No, I don't think he had.
You and Matt met Colton, and obviously you knew my brothers, but
Yeah. But Kaz, no, Kaz met some, but
Kaz is one of those. He's around. He's a good guy.
But yeah, no, it's always a special. Always take the time, hang out with your friends, hang out with your family. We're social creatures, humans, so go enjoy it. And even better if you can go out in nature and enjoy. We shared things we like with with the people we like. Makes it a extra special time.
Well, and a couple things I was going to say too is, one thing I like is the conversations you had in the car, right? Is the conversations you guys are having in your car is a lot different than the conversations we're having in our car. And
it was
just the different things here and there, talking that, we were jamming out to music at one point. We're doing this. We're talking about this animal. We're talking about that. We're talking about this story, that story. We're talking about Matt Buddy. He wasn't in our car, so we had to bring him up. He's a great guy. Matt's a great guy. But yeah, it was fun. I'm trying to think was there any conversations in your car that really stood out to you that you want to share with everyone?
Conversations in our car. I don't know how you could make a whole podcast about those conversations. So maybe we'll bring it up another time, because we don't have time to go through it today.
You had an interesting group. You had Kaz, Matt, yourself, Josh and Tyler. Josh and Tyler, my brothers. That's Kaz, Matt is Matt, you are you.
Yep.
In my car, it was me, Colton, my cousin, Yolo, Aman, and Abdul, all from Africa. It was cool. It was a unique, humbling experience. Yeah. It was fun. We
had some great tunes in my car. We're listening to that older style rock. So it was had a good feel for driving through the park and all that. So
Well, we had at one point, which actually we'll go back to the Lamar Valley day, is on our drive back from Lamar Valley to Gardner. Beautiful sunset. One of the
oh, yeah.
picturesque Montana sunsets that you guys like, if you're in not Montana, you dream of. It was one of those. We saw it. These guys got to see it. But as we're doing that, we're in the car, we're driving. Colton, I have my iPad, which I haven't updated the music on since like college, high school years, so it's a lot older music. But it's like 20,000 songs of music. So I have a lot of music on there. And Colton's over here playing the country music. And then he would hand it back to those guys in the back, and they would find a rap song, and it would go back and forth. They're having a bit, but it was just while this beautiful sunset's happening. But it was an awesome time. It was a good time. I think everyone was super excited, and I was fun. I'm glad that we got to do it, and I want to do another one like it. So I guess we're going to have to say Olympic National Park. Let's find a cabin and make it happen 2022. Give them a few years.
Yeah, no, that would be legit. Head up to Olympic, do something. I love Olympic National Park, so been there only once, but want to go again. But we are coming up on our hour, so it's time for the final words, my guy.
Oh my gosh, final words. I'm gonna leave people with is with your family, with your friends. Go create these trips, go create these memories, because when you're sitting there and your great-great-grandfather, your great-grandfather, your grandfather is sitting on their deathbed, they're telling you about those memories, those experiences with those family members, with those things. So go create those memories. Don't just sit in your house doing nothing. Go up to the Beartooth Mountains at midnight and take a picture of a comet, because that's a memory me and Jared now will talk about forever.
Yeah.
When the NeoWise comet passed the U.S., it passes every 6,800 years, me and my cousin went up to the mountains and took pictures of it. Were they the best pictures? No. Were they good pictures? Sure. If you guys want to buy my pictures, message me. But make those memories with those people, because you'll always have them. You always cherish them.
No, amen, brother. I love it. I love it. Reverend's final words, wisdom for today. Stay beautiful. You guys are amazing. Thank you all for listening today. Can't tell you how much we appreciate it that you guys are paying attention. But go out, enjoy some nature. Whether it's a 20-minute walk through a park or something, just go out and enjoy. Get your feet in the grass, do some grounding or earthing. Just go out and enjoy something, do something. But that being said, peace out, everybody.